What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You'll see we have another car in the garage today. So this is another customer car that I'm going to be doing, and we're going to be documenting this build. Let's talk about this thing. I don't know the whole story on this, but what I do know is that this is a Porsche 912. It's not a 911. It looks like it, but it's a 912. Basically, the difference was that the 912s had a 4-cylinder. Other than that, they're essentially the same car. This one, obviously, is a freaking race car. We're going to kind of go around it. I'm going to show you some of the things about this thing and talk about what we're doing to this thing. Okay, so yeah, fucking race car, obviously. It's got a full cage in it and stuff. We got, yeah, it's got like painless wiring, just switches, and yeah, it's a whole lot of race car stuff going on. The front's kind of cool. It's it's got this whole fiberglass front end and stuff, and it's got a really nice fuel cell situation going on up here. Yeah, let's take you right to the back. The back is probably the most interesting thing that we got going on with this thing. So obviously it's got this these wing uprights and stuff. Pretty cool looking. And then you'll see we got something weird going on. And if you know me, you already kind of know what we have going on. So there's K-series in this thing. So basically the situation is the guy, he hit me up. He wanted to do a K-series in this car. We talked about it. We kind of went over a lot of things about it and what his plans were with it. I kind of gave him some direction, and then he brought me this engine over. I went through this engine. So it's a K20 A2 that it was built by somebody else, and he just had me go through it. Essentially, it's got forged rods. Has stock pistons for some reason, but it's got springs and retainers. I tore it down and went through it, found a bunch of stuff that was kind of missing, not torqued down, whatever. And I ended up, did a windage tray in it with like a trapdoor setup for the oil pan. Those kind of things, basically made it work. He brought it back. He got this adapter plate, which I think it's a Kennedy engineering adapter plate, I believe, to a Porsche G50 gearbox. And he made this, him and his guys, they made this front mount situation, which, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to work out pretty good. I'm not entirely convinced until, we get in here and figure out how the belt's going to kind of work. I can already see we have a problem with this interference, so we're probably going to have to move the alternator down. But other than that, it is bolted in here. One issue that I did notice right off the bat when this thing got loaded into my garage is you'll see that the oil pan situation is not good. They mounted the engine straight because that's what the adapter plate was, instead of angled. So we're gonna have to do something new about the oil pan. That's not gonna work. Probably gonna have to get some sort of flat pan. But yeah, essentially the idea is he's got all these boxes and stuff and all these things. And essentially he wants me to put it together, make it run. He's gonna do a lot of other stuff, glass, seats, all that stuff. Essentially, I just need to get the mechanical part of it done and make it run, get the shift linkage figured out, all those kind of things, so that, it's less work for him because he doesn't have time to do it. So that's where we're at with it. And yeah, so follow along for this journey, I guess. So I guess the first thing I really just need to go through all these boxes. He's got all these boxes, and I have no idea what he brought me, what we have, what we need. I'm sure we need a hell of a lot. Yeah, so this is gonna be interesting, guys. Okay, there's a lot of really good parts. I mean, obviously I told him to buy a lot of this stuff. Like we got those ID injectors. Looks like he got some 1750s. I don't really remember what I told him originally. It doesn't really matter. We got a cheap oil catch can. We've got a K-tuned electric water pump kit. We got some like spark plugs and like oil filter and stuff, but honestly, you got the wrong plugs, so that's not gonna work. We got yeah, there's just a bunch of random things. There was like a wastegate in one of the boxes. Some of the stuff is like Porsche specific stuff. Like, I don't know, he's got like a slave cylinder and like a clutch fork and stuff. Like, I know why there's a slave cylinder. I'm kind of confused as to why there's a clutch fork since the transmission's already in the car, but yeah, I pretty much got everything out of here other than there's just like a, yeah, oil filter adapter and then some like bolts and stuff. But for the most part, yeah, I've been through all those boxes. You can see he's got all this painless wiring that nothing has been done at all. He originally said he was gonna do the wiring, but like honestly, I'm gonna have to do some of it, otherwise it's not gonna run. I mean, unless he literally just wants me to do only like hard parts. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I guess I kind of got to go through this and kind of start figuring out how I want to approach this. Okay, I went through some of these boxes. It's very, very confusing. There's a huge radiator in here with fans. There's a bunch of metal panels and stuff, I think, for the closeout for the radiator. I don't know if it's that one or what. We've also got this smaller, really nice looking radiator. I think that whole situation is going to be an absolute nightmare unless I can find instructions. This is for sure from Renegade Hybrids. I don't know if this one is too. It might be. Yes, it is. So these are both from Renegade Hybrids. So I would assume that this goes with this. The problem being that I'm assuming that in order for this radiator to work, you have to cut the front trunk area out, I would guess. I'm just not sure how that's going to work with this big ass fuel cell in the way. So we may have to do something else. We may have to use that smaller radiator. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna find the instructions on that, but I figured for the moment that seems really difficult. So we're gonna work on something easier just for today. So the first thing, I got my light in here because I really need to upgrade the lighting in my garage on this side. But I think the first thing I'm just gonna do is kind of mess around with the turbo kit. We've got the oil filter adapter, so I'm just gonna throw this on there and kind of set that up. And then I was kind of want to pull the turbo manifold out and just kind of set it in there and just kind of see what kind of situation we're looking at so far. Okay, kind of getting it mocked up, got that on there. Obviously, I did put the oil drain back fitting on the front of the front cover, and I got this turbo manifold sitting on here, and already there's a very noticeable problem. If you look where that wastegate's trying to come out, it's going right at the car, and this thing is huge, and yeah, there's zero chance that's fitting right there. Not without some serious modifications. So I guess I need to see what he wants to do. We either need a different turbo manifold, or we need to get a couple flanges and a piece of pipe, and I need to turn it down, or I don't know. Yeah, let's see what he wants to do. Okay guys, I'm gonna show you this. So I put this turbo together, put the housing on. It's a GT35 knockoff deal, and you're gonna see that it doesn't fit. So the issue is, no matter how you clock this thing, you get this thing up in here, and that's as far as I can go. Doesn't look like much from here, but if you look, the flange, not even remotely close to where it's supposed to be, and we're hitting everything. So yeah, definitely need a different turbo manifold for sure. So I pulled the intake manifold out of the box and kind of mocked it up also, as well as I did some research, and I knew that they'd used like B series TPS on like K series stuff, because it's apparently that's a better TPS, because K series TPS sensors, I mean, they go bad all the time, so it really doesn't surprise me. But this one specifically is meant for that intake manifold, so I guess it is the right one. However, when I mock this thing up in there, I don't know if it's gonna work. It's just, I feel like, in my opinion, looking at this, if I had a turbo manifold that had the flange like here instead of there, I could do, the turbo would be in a good spot, I could run the exhaust, I could run the intercooler piping or whatever. I think it'd be in a better spot. And then I'm thinking, if I had a normal, like RBC style intake or something, it put the throttle body like right here, and then I could just run the intercooler piping around the back to wherever it needs to go, or, you know, whatever. I just got to figure out how I want to run the intercooler, because there's a lot of different ways we could do it. We've got air inlets here, which should be, that'd be the most ideal. If I could figure out a way to get air coming through the spoiler into the intercoolers, or intercooler, whatever, that'd be really good. The problem is there's just not a lot of room between this valve cover, you know, here and then that area. It's pretty small, so I just feel like the surface area wouldn't be enough. Personally, I'm leaning towards water to air right now. I think that'd be one of the better ideas. That, or I think this car would really benefit from water meth, but I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what would be the best thing. It's a lot because obviously, you know, people aren't out there doing this shit. This is just me in here doing this stuff, so I gotta figure it out. But I think first things first, I think I need to tell them about the turbo manifold, figure that situation out, and then I can kind of go from there and take some more steps, because it's possible I might be able to make the center feed work. I thought about maybe if I ran down this way, maybe I could run a water to air intercooler like right here, and then run the intercooler piping up through this hole and then around to the turbo, or around the front to the turbo, wherever the hell I think would make sense. Or, you know, I could even run with those big inline ones. Maybe I could run it here or something. I don't know, but there's a lot of different ideas as far as how I could do this. I'm just trying to figure out the best plan of action. Okay, guys, we got more boxes. Things are looking good. Got another manifold. This one I think is gonna work. I think this is gonna work out just fine. We're about to find out. We're gonna throw this turbo on there and see. The wastegate placement's perfect. I think this is it, guys. I think it's it. Oh shit, look at this. Winner, winner. I kind of mess around with this. I notice, like, obviously the compressor gets bigger the further over it is. And if you're somewhere in about here, it like almost contacts this hinge. So I think this is gonna have to be something like this, which is fine. It'll work. And this is gonna make it, I mean, relatively easy to do the exhaust. I mean, it's really just gonna have to be a 90 down and then just kind of, you know, tuck it back under and run a muffler or whatever I gotta do. It gives me plenty of room. I did try flipping the turbo the other way to see if it would work. It does fit with the manifold. There, I thought it was maybe gonna be too close to the valve cover. It's not. The only issue is that the compressor housing ends up hitting like right in here on the trunk lid. But man, if it was me, if it was my car, I'd almost think about cutting that just to have that fucking sit through just a little bit, because it looks fucking dope the other way. I really like it. That, and to make the exhaust would be really cool coming out the back, because you could come down and you could do all sorts of whatever the fuck you wanted to do under there. But I think realistically the easiest approach is this way for sure. So now I just kind of got to figure out how else I want to do this. I guess I can put the wastegate on, because he did give me, you got another wastegate, so we can kind of throw that on there and just kind of mock that up. You know, obviously that's going to fit, but it'd be nice to see how it looks. Yep, wastegate clears. I was a little concerned just because it's not a tile, it's a V8 Racing. It's pretty close to hitting the compressor housing, but it doesn't hit. So I think that's gonna work. It's just kind of dumped down towards the bottom at the moment. And then I can just kind of figure out if I want to run the wastegate dump and connect it into the downpipe, or just run it alongside it, run twin pipes out the back. I don't know, we'll figure that part out later, but the good thing is that we found a turbo manifold, a turbo, wastegate, all that shit. This is gonna work. Fuck yeah. Next order of business, I need to get the alternator and the water pump off, because I need to see if this intake manifold is gonna work, because apparently he needs to figure out if he needs to return this. So we're gonna take this stuff apart and then mock this up and then try to figure out if there's a way to do it. I have kind of an idea. I'm kind of thinking, I believe you can run the upper plenum on these. I believe you can run them down or up. So I was thinking it might almost make sense if I run it up, and then I can just run the piping, you know, over around the back, maybe run a water to air intercooler right there, and then tie it into there. But I need to get it on there and see if I think that's gonna work. So first things first, let's get all this crap off there. Well, first impressions, it looks fucking dope. That's for sure. As far as like routing wise, you know, originally I was kind of thinking I could run it down and loop it around and come through this hole and then kind of come up over there. And I think that would work. It seems it's a little bit unnecessary for that much piping. So I think yeah, I still think there's this, if I can flip this around, which I think I can, then it might make more sense to run it up and then over. I don't know. I won't know until I get it on there and kind of put the throttle body on there, because I'm kind of concerned as to how much clearance I'm gonna have here, because it's gonna be kind of close to this hood hinge here, depending on how it comes out, because you can kind of see where that is. It's gonna be close, but as long as it stays on this side, we should be okay. But then it kind of depends on how much room I have for a coupler to run it over to get it back into there with the trunk closed. I won't know, but let's take this cover off and then flip it around and see what happens. Well, I don't know about all this. It's sitting over further than I thought, and it's got an angle to it, so now it's like really close to this. And then once you put a hose on here, I don't know, guys. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. It seems like it's way too high, way too close. I don't think that's gonna work. Down it's gonna work though, and I did notice when I was sitting here thinking about it, that even if I got a different intake manifold, like the normal, throttle body coming out the side instead of the center, the problem is I think it's gonna be running basically right into the frame right there. So I don't think that's gonna work at all. So I might have to run the center feed down and then come, through this hole and then over. I think it's probably my best bet, unless I can come up with another idea. But at the moment, that's kind of what makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, I did have a thought though when I was sitting here looking at all this stuff. It'd be super cool if I ran the inlet from the turbo, cut a hole through there, ran it through here, Lexan window, ran the air inlet right there. That'd be fucking dope. I think that would work super, super slick. So we might have to do that with the car, but for the moment, the intake situation, I think this is gonna work. I think I'm gonna tell him we're gonna use this one. Well, not this one, because he's gotta send it back, because this one's like damaged. It's got like, somebody dropped it or something. That was the reason he's gotta get swapped out. But I think we're gonna get another one of these, and then we'll run it down. And I think we'll do that. And at the moment, I'm thinking down and around, air to water back there. We'll figure out where to put the water tank and the heat exchanger later. But for the moment, I think we're on the right path. Well, guys, I think that's gonna be it on this one. Obviously, I didn't get a lot done. We're still in the very beginning stages of it and figuring things out. He actually came over, he grabbed that intake manifold, shipped it back, so hopefully we'll have, a replacement for that one here pretty soon. Basically, it just got dropped. It has some, like, dents on it or whatever. It's not even a big deal, but we're going to get a new one anyway. Next time I'm going to try and, go a little bit further, see what we can mock up, see what we can kind of figure out. I'm probably going to dig into that water pump situation because it's got that electric water pump and try and figure out, is that going to work with the mount we have right now? Is it going to clear, whatever? I might start doing measurements for, what we need for intercooler piping, for exhaust, all that kind of stuff, and basically get a parts list going, because I know that we're going to have to order a ton of parts because we only have, some of the stuff. It seemed like a lot of parts, but there's a lot more to come. Hopefully I can find some instructions for that radiator setup, or maybe I can find some other people have done it. Maybe I can find some pictures or something. I think that's gonna be kind of tricky, but we'll figure it out. But for the moment, I think do all the things, like, subscribe, peace out.